Hey there, sexy patriots. It's Uncle Sam Youngman, and welcome to the first video edition of this week's big stuff. Yeah, yeah, this is what I look like, so that's why I'm cussing all the time. Happy Friday. There are 473 days until the next presidential election. Republicans become the penis pick party. Say that 3 times fast. Trump is finally going to face the music over January 6th, and because it needs to be said, y'all, there ain't going to be no recession. Be advised, this is a cussing show that's trying to watch its cussing on a new medium. This is this week's big stuff. Hey there, sexy patriots. Uncle Sam Youngman here, and with me, as always, is my good buddy and fellow potty mouth, Adam Parkhomenko. Adam, what's up, man?
I almost didn't make it here. I went to get Chipotle for Cam, and the bag said Adam got home, opened it up, and we had Wade's food. So I went back, got it, and didn't want to miss this because I know that someone more important than me that couldn't make it today, didn't make it, and here I am.
Yeah, it's a tough story about Chipotle, man. I hope it worked out.
Still unsure.
Speaking of horror stories, did you see RFK Jr. testifying in front of the House today?
I haven't seen that yet, but I know you did.
Yeah, you're not going to believe this, but he's lost my vote.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that he ever had it.
No, he did not. No, that deranged dipshit never had it in the first place. I tend to vote against Democrats who are friends with, Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson and Jim Jordan, spelled G-Y-M, of course. And, then there's that whole completely bat crap, insane, anti-vaxxer, anti-Semitic, nonsense that comes out of his mouth 24/7. I don't know, man. He don't seem like a Kennedy to me. Don't worry, though. Well, at least don't worry too much. According to a Quinnipiac poll this week, Joe Dark Brandon Biden is in no danger of losing the nomination. Jr. is only polling at 14%. We say only 14%, but hey, survey Democrats, get your crap together. What the hell? 14% for this nut job? Really?
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder sometimes, are these the individuals, who supported President Biden and then crossed over and didn't vote for Hillary? And who knows who the 14% are? They do, though, and it'd be nice to see that number go down. But it's nice to see that no matter what happens here, so many incredible Democrats, from Gavin Newsom to others, got out early and made very clear that while they appreciated individuals, throughout the country urging them to run, they were, wholeheartedly supporting President Biden.
Yeah, it's crazy to see it. Democrats are in array. We don't usually do that. It's been a new thing these last few years. It's been a welcome sight. Cool to see. I tell you, the person I almost feel sorry for here is Marianne Williamson. If you don't know who she is, that probably just means you're a person in America, because she is polling at 7%. It's bad enough that her staff keeps quitting on her, but losing to a roided out freak show like RFK, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, I noticed that she unblocked me on Twitter, so maybe she's expanding her outreach here.
Maybe she thinks she'll be a convert.
Possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I tell you, I'd be so goddamn embarrassed if I were her. I'd drop out of the race and never be heard from again. But it's also possible it's just wishful thinking on my part.
She's also another example of somebody who, conventional wisdom for a long time before she ran the first time was like, this is someone who's respectable. And then they got in and we learned about who they actually are. I mean, you have to wonder sometimes, what is it about people like Donald Trump and Marianne Williamson that they actually go and do this and fly that close to the sun and expose who they are?
I mean, I've sort of been thinking the same thing about Joe Manchin. It's like, hey, you want to talk about your corrupt coal mines? Hey, you want to talk about that yacht in D.C.? Hey, you want to talk about ending the child tax credit? Hey, you want to talk about accusing young parents of being drug addicts? Okay, get in the race. Well, let's talk about some news. The big news this week, of course, aside from a certain letter that found its way down to Mar-a-Lago, was Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Republican Party's love of penis pics. If you didn't see the news this week, then we are super jealous. We're going to show it to you anyway, though.
That is Hunter Biden's penis that she's using 2 hands to hold up.
It's like you're doing PR for Hunter Biden. Yeah, it's pretty appalling. This week at a hearing that was supposed to be about Hunter Biden's taxes, of all things, Marjorie whipped out a blown-up exhibit of the president's only surviving son's junk. Yeah, it was as classy.
I don't
as
think
it
I've
sounds.
seen that take yet, that she whipped out Hunter Biden's penis.
Really? I had never seen anybody said that she needed two hands to hold it.
I
So
just
yeah.
noticed it in this new photo that's been unearthed.
Oh man, we're getting kicked off YouTube like right away. The only thing making all this grossness worse is a pathetic butt kissing Capitol Hill press corps that wants to act like penis pics are just politics as usual. I mean, it's not their son, right? So who gives a damn?
I mean, really, they never care until it's personal.
Yeah. No, I mean, we make so many jokes here, and we're the cussing newsletter, and it's fun and it's funny. But we're talking about a man who struggles with drug addiction. We're talking about a man who lost his mom and sisters as a baby. We're talking about a man who lost his brother to cancer. We're talking about a man who's been through hell and is a drug addict, which is a very real disease that I have personally battled myself. And we're watching an entire political party and the press who enable them use it as some sort of weapon.
I don't think I ever heard one reporter ask, the Trump kids, Jared Kushner, where Mr. Khashoggi was buried
Yeah.
and where his body is. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Jared gave the Saudis a pass and the press gave Jared a pass. It's yeah, I keep saying that if Hunter Biden had just made himself a source for the New York Times, he could have saved himself a lot of trouble because that seems to have worked out pretty darn well for Mr. Kushner.
And Mr. Giuliani.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I tell you, if I want to see a dick pic, I just Google Donald Trump and a picture of a dick pops right up on my computer screen. In this case, the dick we're talking about led a violent attack on the U.S. Capitol that injured 150 cops. If you're like me and Adam, you've been waiting impatiently for 2.5 years for the mango motherfucker to face some accountability for what he did to this nation on January 6, 2021. And this was the week we finally got a hint of assurance that accountability is coming. What do you think, man? Is this it?
Thanks to you, after all the Mueller stuff, no longer get disappointed when something is too good to be true because my expectations are so low. So I don't know what's going to happen, but if something happens, I'm going to be super excited about it. And but I think there's still kind of all this other stuff floating around with Fulton County, and so forth. So I think that there's a lot more to come. The question is there anything at any point that actually makes him so that he can never leave his house again, or so he's wearing the same color that I'm wearing today? I have no idea.
Yeah, if you didn't see the news this week, special counsel Jack Smith did something Robert Mueller never did, and that is send a letter to Donald Trump letting him know he is the target of an investigation. He gave Trump 4 days to come testify in front of the grand jury, and you won't be surprised to hear that Trump declined that invitation. Man,
like a dinner invite.
Right. I tell you, I'm cautiously optimistic. You mentioned Mueller, and I tell you, I was a little bit like a heartbroken high schooler writing breakup poetry and listening to the song "Love Hurts" over and over again. I was hurt after Mueller, and it took me a long time to trust again, to love again. And I'm not ready to say I'm in love with Jack Smith, but I'm warming up to the possibility.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have any holes in your drywall at the house, which is good.
It's true.
I mean, I think that all of this stuff takes time, but it's nice to see things are happening. But you go back to something like Nixon, where Nixon was sort of given a chance, and basically it's like, hey, this is going to happen to you, or you're going to be gone. He was gone. It's just it's like, how much needs to happen in order for something to stick to this guy? But it does seem like some of that sort of enamel, or so forth, is sort of wearing off.
The last thing I wanted to talk about today is the economy, because the reporters chasing around Marjorie Taylor's photo album sure as hell aren't going to talk about it. Y'all, there ain't going to be a recession. And don't take my word for it. Seriously, don't, because I am not an economist. No, take the word of the chief economist of Goldman Sachs, who said this week that the chance of a recession next year is less than 20%. From our understanding, that's pretty darn good. I don't know, man. We went through a once-in-a-century pandemic. We lost over 1 million Americans. The last president left with a jobs record worse than Herbert Hoover. I'd say this guy's doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, and for those listening that are just meeting Sam and I, by Sam saying that, he means like much better than okay, because everything that this guy has promised, he is, I guess, is it's part of the slogan in terms of delivered. But I mean, he's gone far beyond that, and to do that, as Sam has mentioned numerous times, without any transition at the White House, but also, coming on what was still, a pandemic in full swing, is incredible, and it actually is really impacting people. Like, there's people that have been dying for years to pay off bills and be able to, host their friends and family at their dinner table the same way that others do to them, and they're actually able to do that. And I think come November next year they'll remember that. But this isn't happening right before an election. This is happening, more than a year out from an election. So this is a guy that actually gets it and has gotten it his entire career. And it's we don't really need to remind people, but was always one of the poorest U.S. senators in the U.S. Senate, and it's a guy that can relate with the working class.
Yeah, I think that's right. Bidenomics is a real thing, and I think my favorite thing about it is that it's not trickling down all over me. It's built from the middle class out, which is such a revolutionary concept in this country that the pundit class seems to be having a real trouble wrapping their little brains around it. But you're right. He's a guy from Scranton who knows what it's like, when his dad loses his job. He's been there, and from day one, this is what he's been focused on. While people like you and me were calling for vengeance for the sons of bitches who attacked our Capitol, while we've been horrified by the Marjorie Taylor Greene of it all, Joe Biden has stayed focused. And in doing so, he's created over 13 million jobs, or overseen an economy that's created 13 million jobs. Let's say that.
I think the best way that I've been able to summarize this is under Trump, people were terrified to check their mailbox, and under Joe Biden, they're checking their mail every day, and they're excited for where they are in life, and for, how much they've accomplished and how much they've been able to move forward, but not just themselves, but with their family, and be in a position to provide for, their parents that are getting older and others. And it really is a testament to who this guy is.
Yeah, we like to say today's big stuff is Joe Biden creates jobs the way Donald Trump created chaos.
Yep.
It's just more and more true every damn day. Last thing we wanted to talk about this week is the Women's World Cup. We are fired up. Tournament got underway this week. The U.S. women are playing Friday afternoon. It was so great to see second gentleman Doug Emhoff make the long trip down to New Zealand to wish our Warriors well. Adam, are you ready for some football?
I'm super excited. When we got on here at the beginning, Sam asked if it was too much if, the poster of Megan was up on the wall in the background. And I said, probably, but, maybe like do that after it gets going. So I'm sure that'll be up next week next to the pink shirt that was drying there. But no, she's incredible. I mean, we've talked about her for years in the newsletter, but you talk about somebody who stands for everything this country should, and has been on the right side of history long before many others, and that's her. So I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah, and more than anything, Megan is a winner.
Yeah,
she wins trophies. Unlike a certain orange hat who attacked her when she was playing in the last World Cup, which I still can't get over that. Here she is playing for our country on foreign soil and being attacked by Republicans. Of course, good way to shut them up is to win, or at least it worked for her. We won, and they haven't seemed to shut up. But no, I'm fired up. I love this tournament. I love this team. I love these players, and I'm excited. I'm ready to do it.
Look, you're only a true patriot if you walk out of an NFL game and celebrate the 4th of July in Moscow. So
right. Yeah, I don't think any of us should be taking lectures on patriotism from the January 6th crowd. But folks, that's going to do it for us at the very first televised version or video version of this week's big stuff. Adam, I've really enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me.
Sam, thanks for all you do, and we'll both do a special thanks to the MeidasTouch Media Network for having us here today.
Absolutely. Big thanks to the brothers for helping us out. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope to see you again real soon. Love y'all.
See you guys.